How we optimize ServiceNow subscriptions with Flexera. One of the things we want to show you is what we're doing in the tool that's in addition to just pulling information from the vendor API, from the vendor portal. Because we have to do additional computational work, which is added value to get to the correct numbers for a use verification report or an audit report from a ServiceNow perspective. And what we're looking at here is actually a knowledge base article within the ServiceNow support system that was last updated October 29th, recent, and it explains why what customers see in the subscription management module will not match the use verification report, which is a report you request from your ServiceNow sales rep. It's basically an Excel spreadsheet. So both subscription management and use verification report include active users. In subscription management, you'll see all the users consuming a license, but if you're audited, one of the nice things ServiceNow does is they're not going to charge you if the user hasn't logged in within the last 365 days. So these are excluded in the use verification report. The other thing that you'll see, which you kind of should see in the subscription management portal because you see all the assignments, is web service only users. So web service only users think of these as service accounts. They're not going to charge for those either, a pretty good thing. There is also a blind spot, which is called direct role assignment. So the way subscription management works is it allows you, a lot of the vendors have this capability to make it easier to manage large groups of users where you can create a group, put the user in the group, and they would consume whatever licenses are part of that group. So if you do a direct role assignment, which is done outside of the group's capability in subscription management, it would be a blind spot for customers. It is the power of the ServiceNow platform that it's capable, the capability is there to do this. It could be by accident. But those would be audited and those would be included. So this blind spot needs to be included. And these are exactly the computations that we do in the tool, not just pulling information and showing it in our UI that you can already see in the vendor portal, but doing these things so you don't have to create a manual report or ask your rep on a periodic basis for accurate numbers. This article goes on to talk about avoid direct role assignments, how to reconcile. And you can do all these things, but you would still be missing the direct role assignments. And then how we see this in the tool, the computations happen on the back end. But we're going to show what the numbers are. We're going to see all the subscriptions the users have, and we'll be able to compute whether the use verification numbers, what those numbers are, and what you see in subscription management. So in this example, for IT Service Management Pro, which is probably the most popular, more expensive subscription, there are 630 that you see in subscription management, but only 622 are actually auditable. You're only really having to pay for 622. It'll also show that there was 8 web service users, which looks like the difference between the 630 and the 622. The web service users were excluded. We would also show if there were users not logged in the last 365 days, who those were. And then we're going to show how many of these users actually had the direct role assignment. All of this valuable information needed to be able to see your accurate consumption counts. And then if you drill into the subscription, you'll be able to see this information in some of the tiles at the top, as well as all the users. And by simply doing the filter, let's say you're over. In this case, this is demo data, so it shouldn't say 239, but yeah, you're way over. So the way you would be able to optimize is easily sort by the users that haven't used it recently. In this case, I would go from 2 months is the recent usage that I have to see if I can reclaim some of these subscriptions so I don't have to purchase more. The cost avoidance use case. Very valuable, very simple, very easy. All we have to do is have the connector connected, and we do those computations on the back end, and the user has a valid and accurate audit report, or as ServiceNow calls it, a use verification report that refreshes daily. That's Flexera. Thank you.